welcome back to day 2 of our virtual learning adventure, we can call it. I just want to kind of recap some things that we did yesterday. Yesterday we talked about some ordered pairs and how we had the different coordinates. Our little saying was that we crawl before we stand, and we always start at the 0, 0, the origin, aka the OG. So we're going to be doing some more practice with that today. Get over there. Alrighty, so again, you can do this on your iPad under Notability, or I'm going to do it up here. Some kiddos are doing it on a sheet of paper. Whatever helps you to learn best. I'm down with that. So we're going to be doing, again, I'm going to write at the top, we're going to be doing the evens together. I'm going to write that up here. And then when you start working on your own, you're going to do your odds. Make sure you please have your name, date, and number, so when you submit it, I know whose it is and I can give you that credit. Alrighty, working with our evens together, we're going to first look, I'm going to show you how the first assignment looks. And this whole first little section here, it has a blank grid, and we're going to plot these points. So I'm going to do the evens with you, and then with that same grid, you're going to plot the odds. So the first one, it says, I'm going to zoom in. We have number 2, and we have to plot letter A, which is 1, 2. So we have our y-axis and our x-axis, and we want to start at the OG, and we want to crawl before we stand. If it's 1, 2, we're just going to start at the 1. Start at the 0. We're going to crawl 1, and we're going to stand up 2. 1, 2. We're going to plot our point, and then the letter there is A. Letter there is A. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing a little closer. Look at that. Okay. All right. We crawl before we stand. We dribble before we shoot. Number 4, we need to plot letter C, which is 3, 3. We got to start at the origin. Let me kind of write that out. Origin, aka the OG. We're going to start here. We are going to crawl 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to stand 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. That letter is going to be C. A, C. We're good to go. All right, moving right along here. We're going to do number 6. We need to plot letter E, and we have 6, 0. 6, 0. Where do we start? At the OG, which is our origin, our 0. We're going to cross 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to stand 0. Well, that means we're just staying on our x-axis, right? 6, 0, and we're labeling that point E. Labeling that point E. I like it. Moving right along here. Looking at number 8. Number 8, we're trying to plot G, and it is 2, 8. We're going to start at our origin, the OG. We're going to crawl before we stand. We are crawling 2. 1, 2. We are standing 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to plot the dot, and we're going to hit it with that G, okay? Crawl before we stand. We're dribbling before we shoot. What happens if we stand before we crawl? We're going to get it wrong. So remember, we got to crawl before we stand. All right, moving right along to number 10. We're going to plot I, which is 7, 4. We're going to start at the OG. We're going to crawl 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we are standing up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are plotting that dot I. That was I. I like this lesson. All right, moving on to our last one in this little section, number 12. We have to plot K for Kujawa, and that's 1, 4. We got to start at the OG. We're starting at the origin, the 0. We're going to crawl 1, and we're going to stand 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Hit it with the plot. Hit it with the K. KK, Kujawa? All right. I just feel so good about myself. We crawl before we stand. These are just great. All right, we're going to look at number 14 together. Number 14 says, explain the difference in how you graphed points K and L on the coordinate grid. All right, so we got to take a look at K, and we got to take a look at L. Ooh, we didn't even do L. You guys get a little freebie. I'm going to plot L, which is 13. It is an odd problem, but I am going to do it with you right now together. So let's plot L. It's 4, 1. So we're going to start at the OG, and we're going to crawl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stand 1 and 1, and that was L. All right, so back to number 14. I'm going to get my black marker here. And number 14 says, what is the difference between K and L? Let's take a look here. K, starting at the OG, is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4. So that's my K. And my L, I'm going to start at the OG, my origin, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand up 1 is 4, 1. Well, taking a look at these, how are they different? Well, if K is up here and L is up here, are they in the same spot? No, no, no. They are not. So they're different because based on their locations, they're not in the same spot. A good response to this one is that you can put that you have to crawl before you stand. That's how they're different. That's one way that they're different. Number one is that they're at different locations. And number two, if we follow that concept where we're crawling before we stand, that's how we're going to get to these same plots, or these two different plots, okay? Alrighty, let's move on to number 16. Now you also kind of get another freebie with this one because number 16 requires you to kind of piggyback off number 15. So you guys are lucky. Alright, let's take a look. I got this board already pre-made for us. Number 15 says, and I do want to annotate because it's a word prob, graph the points below on the grid to the right. So we have D, E, F, and G, okay? So we're first going to plot D. D says 1, 1. So where am I going to start? The OG, right? Starting at the OG. We're going to crawl 1, stand 1. Plot my little dot, and that's going to be D. So first let's plot all these dots, okay? Then it says we need to plot E, which is 4, 1. Start at the OG, the origin. And again, I'm going to write that down at the bottom. So when your parents ask, what's OG? You say, well, Mom, mathematically, it's the origin. But in our class swag we got going on is to OG. All right, 4, 1. We got to start at 0. We're going to crawl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to stand up just 1. And that's going to be E. Next one is F, which is 3, 3. We're starting at the origin, the OG. We're crawling 3, 1, 2, 3. We're standing 3. 1, 2, 3. What did I say? That was going to be F. And our last one is G. G is 2, 3. So I'm starting here. I'm going to crawl 2, 1, 2. I'm going to stand 3. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. Graph the points. On the grid to the right, we did that. 1, 1. Let me just check this out. 4, 1, 3, 3, 2, 3. Excellent. Okay. Now, number 16 says, I'm going to kind of switch back to the iPad and come back to here. It says, Kimberly wants to draw a line segment to connect the points to form a shape. What would be the most appropriate tool for her to use? So we got to think for a minute, line segment. And I just so happen to have right here what a line segment is. So a line segment is a line between two end points. So if this is what a line segment is, and we have 4 different points on this paper, just think for a minute. What kind of tool would you use if you wanted to draw a straight line, a line segment? Well, what they're asking is if you were to connect these dots, what could you use to draw nice straight lines? If you're thinking in your head, a ruler, Miss Kujawa, we always kept them in our desk and it helped us do a straight line, you're correct. That's the tool that you would use. You would use a ruler. Piece of cake. All right, we're going to the next one. On to the next one. Here we go. I'm a-scrolling. Number 18. Ooh. Franco said that 5 plus 2 times 30 equals 210. Is he correct? Please explain. All right, I'm going to erase this guy. Actually, y'all can pause this anytime. It's a video. I'm going to get rid of the whole shebang and boodle. Let's write it up here nice and big so you can see it. Alrighty, so this is number 18. And we need a new marker. Alright, we have 5 plus 2 times 30 equals 210. Okay, so this is kind of like a little bit of a throwback problem. It doesn't technically tie in with our coordinate planes, but it is a spiral review to get your mind thinking about it. So remember, this is a please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If you forgot, the P stands for parentheses, and the E is exponent. Exponent. Also, P's, just because I could already hear like kids in my mind saying, oh, it also stands for brackets and braces, Miss Kujawa, and you guys are absolutely correct. Multiplication and division is our MD, and our AS stands for addition and subtraction. Now remember, whenever we're solving these, does it have to be multiplication before division? Does it have to be addition before subtraction? Nope, we got to solve it from the left to the right. So we're going to do exactly that. I'm going to kind of shorten this, following our steps. So first thing in here, do you see any parentheses? Nope, nothing there. Any exponents? Nope. Any multiplication or division? Aha, that's what we're going to solve first because we have to follow PEMDAS order. So we're going to make our little caret, and we have to solve 2 times 30. Now remember, we talked about some little techniques about covering up any zeros. Well, what is 2 times 3? 6. Well, now that I had that 0 covered up, I'm going to just uncover it, and that's really going to be 60. All right? We got to solve one step at a time, so what are we going to do with everything else? You're going to drop it like this, hee-hoo, or you're going to bring it downtown. So it's going to be 5 plus 60 equals 210. Okay, well, we only have one operation left, so 60 plus 5 is 65 equals 200. What? That 65 does not equal 210. So what's that boy's name? Franco? Is Franco correct? No. Franco is not correct. So you can put no. Let me hold this. Franco is not correct. And it does ask you to explain. Now, if you showed your work and you did stuff like this, you explained. You explained using numbers, and that is absolutely fine. If you want to change that into words and explain that the numbers aren't even, that he probably didn't follow PEMDAS, and that's why he got what he got, you can also do that as well. Okay? We have 2 more questions to go. And things are sizzling up here again. We're going to do our hot question. Let's move it sideways here. Alrighty. It says, one side of a rectangle is parallel to the x-axis. Now the vertex, never heard of that word before. The vertex of a rectangle is located at 5, 2, and another vertex is 1, 4. What are the coordinates of the other 2 vertices? What are all these fancy words you're probably thinking? I'm going to show you. This is something that I said, oh yeah, we're going to hop into polygons and parallelograms, and we are going to, but we're doing it virtually now. So this is a hot question. It gave us 2 sides, and it asked for 2 more sides. That's because how many sides are in a rectangle? There's 4. So let's see. We did that board. Okay. I'm ready for you. I'm actually going to use this same board. And this is for number 20, which is our hot question. Alrighty, so that fancy word vertex and vertices, I want to kind of run that by you. And if you use some of your context clues, that could help you solve that. So it says that the vertex of the rectangle is at a point. It's at 5, 2. So let me just show you really quick with this little tidbit. It says vertex, a point where two or more rays of an angle meet. So a vertex, all it is, it's like where the two sections meet. See, like your elbows meeting? Whenever two lines meet and make kind of like that corner, that's what a vertex is. So whenever there's more than one vertex, it's plural. It's vertices. So at the end of our question, it asked us, find the last two vertices. It just means find the other two vertexes because we're going to be actually making a rectangle. All right, so I'm going to go back to this problem, and it says that one of the vertexes is at 5, 2. So I'm just going to like make my own graph as if I were doing my own thing. Okay, and I know that the first one's at 5, 2. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go up 2. 1, 2. So if I start at my OG, you got it, and we're going to crawl before we stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand up 2. That point is going to be right about there, and it doesn't give us a letter. It's just our point. It says the other vertex is going to be at 1, 4. Got to start at my OG. I'm going to crawl 1, and I'm going to stand up 4. Well, I have 2 over here. 1, 2, 3. Wait. That's too close. 4. So I'm going to crawl 1, and I'm going to stand 4. So we have 2 points right here, and they say something about creating a rectangle. Well, where would the other 2 places be, the other 2 dots, so we can make a vertex, to make a rectangle? Can you see it? I think I see something that we need to do. I'm going to use the red marker. Well, if we know that the shape of a rectangle looks like that, and if I have 2 points that are kind of like here and kind of like there, I know that my next 2 vertices, this one's going to be right under it, and this one's going to be right on top, and we want it to be even. So I'm thinking if I start at my OG, my origin, and I crawl 1, I want to keep it level with this one. I want to have like an even rectangle. So that means if this first guy was 5, 2, I'm going to crawl 1 and I'm going to stand 2. That way I'm right even with this guy. Can you kind of see where our next point's going to be to make our rectangle, to make our very lopsided rectangle? Let me put this back up here. There we go. All right, to find our missing guy, we know he's going to be over here. We got to start at the OG. We're going to crawl before we stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in our first guy up here, we crawled 1 and we stood 4. Here we're going to crawl 5 and we're going to stand 4. That way, we have 4 different vertices, and that's how we made that rectangle. So the other 2 ordered pairs, our first one we had was 5, 2. We did that. He's right there. Oopsie. He's right there. Then we had 1, 4. We did him. He's up there. That means our last 2 missing ordered pairs, we're going to crawl 1, we stood 2. So 1, 2. And again, we're closing it off with a parenthesis. And then the last ordered pair was we crawled 5 and we stood 4. 5, 4. And he was right up there. So as you can see, they all have the same numbers. It's kind of a different order going on. They're kind of sharing. Alrighty, down to our last question. We are on number 22. It's an assessment question. And it has the name Connor in it. And we have a Connor in our class, so I always think that's always so special. It says Connor visits the following locations. He goes to the museum, labels it M. He goes to the sports center, labels that one S. The bookstore, B. Graph and label each location on the grid to the right. Okay, so we have 4, 0, 5, 2, and 7, 8. And I already had a board all pre-made for Connor because, you know, that's Connor. That's what we do. Alrighty. So, our first thing that we're going to do, that Connor goes to the museum, it's 4, 0. So, where are we going to start? I'm going to use my red marker. We're going to start at the OG. I was waiting to see if someone's going to say it. All right, we're starting at the OG. We are going to crawl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stand 0. Well, if we're standing 0, that's going to be right there, our M. And uh-oh, my computer fell asleep again. Thank you for your patience as I turn it back on. Here we go. Okay, now we're going to do S. He goes to the sports center, which is 5, 2. We're going to start at the OG. We're going to crawl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to stand 2. 1, 2. Boom. That is our sports center. We're labeled with an S. Last but not least, he goes to the bookstore, which is 7, 8. We're going to start at the OG. We're going to crawl 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to stand up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right at the very top. And that's going to be B, the bookstore. So at the very end, if your graph looks something like this and you have your 3 ordered pairs exactly where they should be, you got it correct. Thank you so much for watching this video. You guys are now going to do the odds on your own, and we'll be going over that in Zoom tomorrow. See you guys then. Bye.